With all the craziness going on in the world right now, what's happening in the Richmond housing market? We'll cover that today on your March 2022 Richmond Real Estate Market Update. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, whatever time you're watching this. My name is Chris Elliott with the Elliott Real Estate team at RE/MAX. Happy to deliver this update for you. If we could do some housekeeping real quick, if you would like, subscribe, all that stuff. We're super needy when it comes to the algorithm, so thank you in advance for that. So I will say this, this video is being recorded on March the 11th, 2022. So obviously we are in an environment where the world is somewhat in flux with gas prices, with inflation, with the Ukraine conflict, and everything going on. So we just want to go ahead and date that before we get started. So the question with regard to housing right now on a lot of people's minds is, are we in a housing bubble? And then if we are, when is the bubble going to burst? Okay. So I've got my own personal opinions on this, but I'm just going to share some statistics with you. I'm going to let you as an educated adult make your own decision on those two questions. So according to a recent Realtor.com study, 77% of consumers and 44% of agents believe that we are currently in a housing bubble, which is somewhat interesting. So the question becomes, is this another 2008 that's about to happen, or is this simple supply and demand economics? And once again, we'll show the info, we'll let you make your own decision. So if we see in this graphic right here, we will see the month supply of inventory from 2007 to 2010 compared to the month supply of inventory over the last 4 years that we've seen in this housing market. Once again, month supply of inventory just basically is a simple metric that we track. Some people call it the absorption rate. Essentially says that the rate at which homes are selling, if nothing new were to hit the market, how long would it take to sell out the current inventory? As you can see, one of the systemic problems that we had during the run-up to 2008 and even afterwards is that we had a very high supply of inventory, meaning that it was very much a buyer's market by definition. The last 4 years, as you can see, we've seen very low month supply of inventory, and therefore we have been in a true seller's market where there is more demand than there is actual supply, which is part of the reason you've seen prices fluctuate up. So another interesting statistic to look at is the volume of loans, or the amount of money that was lent to folks with, let's call it, more marginal credit. So in this graphic, we'll see the volume of loans in billions of dollars, yes, it's a big number, to folks with a credit score below 620. So as you can see, in the run up to 2008, there was a large volume of money that was being lent to folks with more marginal credit, whereas today we're seeing a whole lot less of those loans. The loan guidelines and restrictions have been tightened up a good bit after the 2008 meltdown. So the other question on everybody's mind is home prices. Have we peaked? Are they going to continue to go up? Are they going to come down? What's going on with home prices? What we are seeing is that price appreciation is actually accelerating again, and I'm going to draw a distinction there. So we're not saying that prices are continuing to rise, which they absolutely are, but we're saying the rate at which they are rising has accelerated again. So as you can see in this graphic, this is the year-over-year appreciation. We started to crank back up in the month of January, where we saw 19.1% year-over-year appreciation as a whole in the country. And then the other question to be answered is what's going to happen with price appreciation over the remainder of this year. The forecasters have revised their forecasts, as they're always doing. If we look at the 7 major institutions and economists that everybody kind of looks at for that information, we'll see that they are averaging 6.1% as far as what they are suggesting homes are going to appreciate in 2022, with some economists forecasting more, some economists forecasting less. This could be higher, but it really all depends on, in my opinion, the Ukraine conflict, inflation, and kind of what that does to consumer confidence. Because at the end of the day, no matter what is happening, if consumer confidence drops, home price appreciation in the real estate market in general can slow down a little bit. Last but not least, the last thing we want to look at is what is month supply of inventory, or the absorption rate, doing in Richmond Metro. So as you can see, we've been on a steady decline for a while now. That number has gone ahead and declined again in the month of February, meaning that the market has continued to heat up throughout the remainder of this year. Right now we're at 0.5 month supply of inventory, meaning that if nothing new were to hit the market at the rate at which homes are selling, all of Metro Richmond would sell out in the next 2 weeks. And yes, I said 2 weeks, 14 days based on the month and supply of inventory. So what does this all mean for you? For sellers, if you have to buy, we recommend buying first. In other words, you're going to be able to sell your home in a heartbeat, but if you're needing to buy something, we'd recommend, if you're financially able to, you probably want to go ahead and find where you're going next, just because it is a little bit tough to get a home under contract right now, just given current market conditions. Spring is here, so if you're somebody that likes to time the market based on conventional seasonality, spring is here. If you're somebody that likes to sell in the spring, we'd recommend go ahead and let's have the conversation now as far as your plans to make a move, either in the spring or the summer, just so you have a game plan, you can reduce the stress, and you can do everything that you need to do. Last but not least, as is an option. So historically, selling your property as is was not the best idea, just because it meant that you were going to have to take a huge cut in the price tag that you were able to get for your home, and a lot of buyers just weren't interested in properties that needed work. In the current market, we're seeing where those properties are selling, they're selling well, they're selling for good prices, of course less than what a fully renovated property would get, but realize that you don't necessarily just have to continue renting your property or sell it to an investor who's going to buy it at 70 cents on the dollar. You can go ahead and sell your property on the open market, not do anything to the property, sell it as is without any negotiated repairs, and still get a very good price. We've done that a number of times, not only this year, but we did it probably a dozen times last year with clients that had as-is properties. For buyers, my heart goes out to you, because it is definitely not the easiest time in history to buy a home. Couple tips for you though. We would recommend bringing your home inspector to the showing. Bring your home inspector. So what we are seeing on not only the offers that we're accepting on our listings, but just what we're seeing from our clients that are having success and from other agents that we network with, is most every contract that's being accepted in this market has a waived inspection contingency, which can be a little scary. But one option that you do have is paying a home inspector. Our preferred inspector charges $150 to accompany you on that showing, kind of walk through the house, just take a good overlook on things and see if there's anything major that you need to be aware of. And if there isn't, you can then, with a little bit more confidence, tell the seller, hey, I am willing to completely waive the inspection contingency. I am willing to buy this house for going on an inspection. So just a tip for you. Secondly, I would recommend searching off market. So one of the things that we're doing with all of our clients that are buying homes is we're sitting down, we're getting their buying criteria, and we're going and looking in tax records for properties every property that exists that matches their criteria. That way we're not just waiting with everybody and their mother until a home comes on the market and competing with 20 offers, but we're going out, we're finding folks that own homes that maybe we're thinking about selling them. They just hadn't gotten around to put the house on the market yet, and seeing if we can put a deal together. We've done this several times successfully, always fun. We're able to basically unlock more inventory for our clients, and we're able to get them into a house where they're not competing with 20 people on it. Last but not least, all that being said, realize it's only going to continue to get more expensive. So we didn't cover in today's video, but interest rates are on the rise. If you're out there shopping for a home, you know that to be true, and interest rates are scheduled to continue to rise. Also, as you can see, home prices are also continue to schedule to rise, if I can say that. So just know that if you are not comfortable buying a home right now, I fully understand, but if you are somebody that's sidelining yourself waiting for things to cool down, realize when they do cool down, it's going to get much more expensive for you, and you're just going to be buying with a higher interest rate, more than likely, at a higher price point, more than likely. So hope that makes sense. Hope you found that useful. If you have any questions, concerns that I didn't address, feel free to comment below, like, subscribe, shoot me an email back, DM me, wherever you're getting this. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next month.